When I think about Peter Lynch, I think about Dunkin' Donuts, Chrysler, looking around you, knowing what you own. But I also think about growth stocks. And now we're going to talk about the fast growers. And would it be fair to say, Karan, that is when you think of Peter Lynch's focus, that this would be his focus area, fast growers?
Absolutely. So this is where he got his 10 baggers that kind of drove that 29.2% rate that we've seen over the last 13 years that he managed Magellan Fund. The returns really came primarily from the fast growers. He had like a 15x on Chrysler, like a 4x on Dunkin', and this is in a relatively short time frame, right? So home runs, multi-baggers all the way. And this is the main section where they came from. So when we look at fast growers in the market today, what are some fast growers that you see around us?
Well, I definitely I put Coupon in there because that's a business that's growing very fast. And
Right.
to me, the fast grower, it's not only about, well, this talks about we'll get to the risk of the fast grower.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. Hey, I'm always thinking about the risk, Karan. But I think about Coupon. That's something I'm in. I think about the e-commerce businesses at Prosus, not their Tencent holding, but the e-commerce businesses that they're trying to, the smaller businesses that they're trying to, classifieds and food delivery that they're trying to show profits on by 2025. These are businesses that are in the last 6 months, year over year, Prosus's e-commerce businesses grew revenue at 40%. And I think the number Peter Lynch uses is something like 20 to 30% growth.
Right.
Would be a fast grower. So it's even faster than that. But I also wrote down Amazon and Alphabet, and I'm going to look at their expected revenue growth over the next 3 to 5 years. And I'm seeing for Amazon, I'm seeing 18%. For Alphabet, I'm seeing 16.5%. So, Karan, I know maybe you can talk about Alibaba and Prosus, but the reason I'm bringing up Alphabet and Amazon is because in today's world, with some of these internet companies and large companies, and of course the internet's still growing and businesses are still being developed around the internet, just because a business is huge and well known and one of the 5 biggest businesses in the world, it doesn't mean it can't be a fast grower. And I just wanted to bring that up because
absolutely,
people may not think when they think of fast growers, they may think they have to be small and unknown. Well, again, I'm looking at the projected growth rates for those businesses, 16 to 18%. That's pretty good for revenue growth. And so those were a couple of businesses that came to mind as well. What about you? What's a fast grower?
Within Amazon also you've got, just to add on to what you kind of said, within Amazon, for example, you've got this absolutely huge growth beast just growing, market cap unbound with AWS. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't realize how much more AWS can continue to grow, even though its size is absolutely massive, at this point, compared to, I think it was started, I'm not sure which year, but it's been growing by leaps and bounds even over the last 10 years. So within large companies, you've got these spawner type initiatives that have absolutely massive growth rates, and that's kind of what's driving the stock prices also.
Yeah, for sure. And then with something like Amazon, AWS is growing a ton because the cloud industry is growing, and then with something like Coupon, the e-commerce is growing in South Korea and taking up more of the commerce share, and then their share of e-commerce is growing. So growth kind of presents itself in different ways. The big risk for fast growers is, are they still going to keep growing? And we've seen this in the last year, Karan, as the economy has changed, and some really big growing companies all of a sudden produce their first drops in growth and their first flat revenue year over year. Yeah. And the stock market did not
that's what
react
we're seeing
well.
Right now.
Right now we're seeing that. So yeah, to me, that's the big risk. And how do you account for that risk, Karan, when you're looking at a fast grower? Do you own any fast growers?
The best example is in the book itself. So when Peter Lynch was talking about this, when he was writing this book, he had Apple in there as one of the fast growing companies that, is going to take over the world. Sure enough, they did. They had the iPhone, they had everything, the services, fantastic business, right? But now when you look at it, is it still a fast grower, or is it kind of moving towards maturity to kind of potential decline?
So yeah, when you speak about Apple, and that's what makes this not easy, because I could take the other side of that argument and I could say, well, look what they've done with AirPods, or whatever they're called, the earbuds or whatever, AirBuds, and
Uh,
that like those that's become a huge business in itself,
it's
and that
become a
has,
huge business of its own. Yeah.
yeah, of its own, and I really think that drives in a large way iPhone usage, because I find myself a lot like listening to podcasts or listening to YouTube videos or Audible when I would not be listening to them. Now I'm listening to them because of the earbuds. So we'll see what they do with cards and everything like that. So Karan, how do you account for that risk though when you're looking at fast growers? Because this is something I want to be in a large way. I want to be in businesses that are growing fast. For me, I just kind of try to think about the runway and try not to be blinded by the nice growth now, and truly
Right.
try to think about like, okay, maybe there's a home decor company saying they could get to 500 stores across the country and they're 250 now. Um, would they really get to 500 stores? Are they showing that they can do that? Has the growth slowed as they've grown? Like, just trying to ask yourself, what does the runway look like? Is there anything else you think we can do to prevent
So
that
are you
risk
talking
of
about like a
being
destination analysis? Is that kind of what you mean?
yeah, having a destination analysis, but like how do you account for that risk of not being caught with a fast grower as it stops growing?
I mean, the best way is literally have a basket of these. Like, don't just go all into fast growers. Like we saw that with, say, someone like Kathy Wood, right? She's got an innovation focused ETF, kind of like fast growers across the board, right? So you have that risk. Suppose your growth assumptions are wrong. We saw that. We saw what happened to ARKK, over the last 1 year. So that's
Mhm.
this is like the best example of what happens when fast growers don't grow fast, or what happens when, interest rates increase and fast growers have to start making money. Like they can't just plow
Right.
everything that they have into revenue growth. They have to focus on profitability. So you've got to like balance it out.
So I think for me, what that brings to mind is like focusing on the business, like Mona says, like focus on the business and focusing on the moat and focusing on the actual like, why is this business taking market share? And one of the things Peter Lynch talks about is getting fast growers inside of industries that are not growing that much. And I think he was saying that because it's a sign that the business is doing something better or more special than other businesses and
Yeah,
taking market share.
absolutely. So
And that might be a way to prevent this, because like you don't have to rely on the overall industry continuing to grow. You can just focus on that business's moat.